Hey everybody, Joe back to you with another video on showing you something cool you can do with Photoshop's new generative fill. And what I'm going to do is first create a panoramic. If I take a look at the shots here, let me zoom out of there. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this was handheld. Yeah, I know, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. I'm going to go to Photo Merge, Panorama. Now, Lightroom does a pretty amazing job of it. Everything looks pretty straight. However, there are some problems. Obviously, I was handheld, so I've got all these big holes. Now, Lightroom does have a fill edges thing. Let's click on that and see how it does. And while it does a pretty amazing job, you can see a lot of repeating patterns. Look up here in the sky here. You can see the repeats. Also, there's patterns here. Could I go into Photoshop and fix that? Yes, but let's see if Generative Fill can do a better job. So I'm going to turn off the fill edges and just tell it to go ahead and merge as is without doing anything else. Okay, so here's our merged panorama. And anything I want to do in Lightroom first. Yeah, actually the color's off a little bit. Let's add a little bit more drama to this. Let's go up to basic, add a little bit of contrast. I think the color, let's see, what does it need to be? More yellow, more blue? Yeah, a little more blue. That's what it needed. This was after a hurricane, so it was pretty stormy out. I also don't like the color of the greens, and these are the kinds of things that are easier to fix in Lightroom before you go anywhere. So I'm going to click on the color mixer, go to hue, get our little magical slider here, and I'm going to push up and down because the grass was very green here. I'm going to make it that green, but then I'm going to bring the saturation down just a smidge and make it a little darker. Good. Okay, I think that's looking a lot better. Now let's send this thing into Photoshop. So we'll go to Photo, Edit in Photoshop, and we're on 2024, which is the one you need, unless you're using Photoshop Beta still. Photoshop 2024 is the one that has Generative Fill built into it. All right, so here we go. Here's our image. I'm going to create a new layer, just so I can get back to the original. And let's go ahead and I'll just use the lasso tool and select this area and tell it to generate. I'm not going to give it a description, just it knows if I don't do anything to just basically do an advanced content aware fill here. And let's see how good a job it does on the sky. And that is absolutely lovely. I don't see any repeating patterns. It really does a much better job than our old-fashioned content-aware fill. So let's do the same thing. I'm going to go back down to our layer. Let's go do the same thing for the bottom part with the surf here. Get those pieces that are missing. And do it one more time. Generative Fill, and just do it. And again, let's zoom in on here. Let's take a look at this rock. That is really amazing. If you remember, we saw those repeating patterns when we asked Lightroom to do it. Now it is just beautiful. So let's do this one last piece. Actually, there's two little pieces. Let's drag around here to get rid of this other missing piece. Do I need all this? Maybe not, but we're just putting it through its paces to see what Generative Fill can do to help us with our landscape photography. Again, really, it's pretty much nothing short of amazing. And actually, I'm going to crop off that little bit of right, but let's go ahead and fix this last piece here. And again, one last time, generate there. So what we're doing with Generative Fill is we're not adding things. We're filling in, and then we're going to do some subtraction. I'm not just saying, oh, put a giant seagull flying in the scene. All right. Now, if I wanted this last bit, I'm just going to hit the C key. Oh, let's clear that. I'm going to just come right out close to the edge, about right there. I probably have too much of this anyway. We'll see how our shape is when we're done. Okay, that looks great. Now, yes, that little red building is there, but it's kind of a distraction. Do we want to get rid of it? Let's see. Yes, it's really there. And if you were doing something that was historically or factually accurate, you would want to leave it there. But let's see how good Generative Fill can be. Now, this is a bear. Could I do this in Photoshop? Yeah, but boy, this would take a little bit of work because we've got the fence coming through it in the back. let's try it, Generative Fill, and hit generate and see how good it is at getting rid of that red building. And again, it's remarkable. And when you do this, there are the variations. So we can try the different ones to see how it handled the grass differently. And which one do we like better? I like how it fixed the fence in that one a little better. Actually, that one, well, nope, that's my favorite. So we're going to go with that one. So let's hit Command 0. So while we're here, let me just see how much of the image I really need or what I want to fix. I can't leave this go. So I'm going to create a stack of this. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key and click on the layer menu, the little 3 lines up there, and click Merge Visible. Again, I'm holding down the Alt key because what that does is it keeps all of our previous layers intact. And I'm going to select the sky. I think we've got some different color temperatures here. So with the sky selected, I'm going to do I'm going to do use saturation or color balance. Actually, you know what? Let's do a curves on it. I want to darken it up a bit. So let's bring the middle down a bit. There we go. In fact, I want to bring the highlights down a bit as well. So let's bring those down. And yeah, that's kind of more the mood I was after. Do I want to make the darks even darker or lighter? Yeah, actually, there we go. That looks better. We turn this on and off, you can see. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and see if we can do one other thing. Let's select the subject. See if it understands the lighthouse is the subject. Almost. Actually, that's I can work with that. So let's go ahead and do a levels adjustment. So here's our levels. Let's see if yeah, there we go. I just want to brighten that up just a smidge. Okay. All right, so what shape is this thing? Well, what is a shape I can actually print? 3:1 is actually a standard frame size. So let's do a crop and do 3:1. 3:1. And actually, that's pretty good without really costing us anything. And you know, I'm fine with that because I actually wanted a little less sky, because by bringing that sky down, it makes the lighthouse a little bigger in the frame. I'm going to come in a little bit. I think maybe the rock in the bottom left is a little too strong, but by doing something like that, that gives us a nice full frame. And there we go. So you can see we did fill to fill in the pieces of the sky and the water that were missing and the rock over here. And we also got rid of that one little barn there, all using the new Generative Fill. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool capabilities for this new technology to really just clean up your landscapes and get them the way you want without making them fake. More to come. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye.